Yeah. Lou Els, what up? Colin, what's up? September's, what's up? Nobody likes Toronto, bro. She better be a dime. She got you flying to Toronto. Jesus son, what up? Austin Baker, Maxwell, Mo Bamba. Is that the real Mo Bamba? Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. That was not a 5-minute intro. That was a figment of your imagination. Hit the like button on the stream. That would be greatly appreciated. And hit the subscribe button if you're new. Only 30% of people that watch these shows are subscribed to the channel. That is what we call fraudulent behavior, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the No Fraud Zone! Yeah. 42 people up in here. Thanks for being here, man. All right, so let's get right down to business. Some Tyrese Maxey workout videos have surfaced. Have been surfacing the internet yesterday, today, this morning. And there you see it. At the top, you search Tyrese Maxey on Twitter. Boom! Run It Back Philly at the top. Why aren't you following the Run It Back Philly Twitter page, man? At Run It Back Philly. That's the one I posted yesterday. But there's some new ones, too, that floated around. My guy RB, Philly Take with RB, had some of them on his Instagram page. If you're not following that, what are you doing with your life? So we're going to look at those. My dude Sean Bernard from the Pick Swap podcast. I found a clip of him when I was surfing the internet saying that he believes Tyrese Maxey will average more points per game than James Harden. And at first that sounded crazy to me, but then I thought about it a little bit, so we're going to listen to that also. And then some other random NBA things, and maybe, just maybe, some Philadelphia Eagles training camp videos by the end of this stream. If you want to stick around for that, stick around, or I'll use that and I will post separate clips on the channel of me reacting to Philadelphia Eagles training camp videos, because that starts today. I'm just happy to have some kind of sports in my life. I will sit here and watch Eagles training camp videos. But let's get to Tyrese Maxey first, okay? Because I think I don't think the NBA landscape is talking about Tyrese Maxey enough. I really don't. I don't think they're talking about him enough. I don't think they're giving him enough respect. I don't think they're giving him enough shine. I don't think NBA TV talks about him enough. I don't think ESPN talks about him enough. I don't think anybody talks about Tyrese Maxey enough. And the more I watch these workout videos, the more I see, a quick little TikTok interview of Tyrese Maxey talking, saying, I'm up at 5, my first workout is 6, I get it, then I go lift weights, and I come back and get a second shooting workout in, and I got 2 workouts in before 11 a.m. The more I see that and hear that, the more I believe that this kid is going to be on a different level this season. From year 1 to year 2 was already insane. He's going to be an all-star this season. I showed you the screen yesterday of Bleacher Report or some kind of page on Twitter that was going over improved players on each team, and they listed Tyrese Maxey, breakout players on each team, and they listed Tyrese Maxey as an all-star candidate this season. This is what I keep telling people. We don't need another star. We have a big three right in front of our faces. So if you haven't seen it, or if you just want to see it again, because why would you not want to watch this beautiful content of Tyrese Maxey working out and shooting a basketball? I need this. I need Tyrese Maxey workout videos like Amy Winehouse needed a needle. That might have been too much, man. It's only noon, Eastwood. Chill out, bro. All right, let's get down to business, man. Here you go. Let's watch it. Let me make sure this doesn't blast in my ear. So one of his trainers, Chris Johnson Hoops, posts this on Twitter and says, Twitter refs, now's your time to shine. Is this a travel? So here's Tyrese Maxey working on the patented James Harden step back. And I remember Steph Curry doing this in a game too. And when it first happened, they didn't know what to do. The refs, they looked at it, they didn't call it. They were like, I don't know what just happened, but I don't know. Then they looked at it closely and they said, all right, next time we see that, we got to call that a travel. And he got called for it before. And the first time Tyrese Maxey, I believe the first game that he played with James Harden on the Sixers, he tried this move and got called for a travel also. So, the step back here, I know the rules every year in the NBA are slowly bending more and more. I just like the fact that Tyrese Maxey's out here working on moves, working on one-on-one moves, step backs, creating space. Anyway, here, let's watch it. You tell me what you think in the chat. Is this a travel? Yes or no? It's obviously a travel, okay? This is the exact move that he got called for a travel that when he tried I think the first game he was playing with James Harden, he got called for this. And, the thing is, there's the step back, right? So you're going to have to, create some space between that last dribble and your gather step to get away with this. Maybe I can break it down, frame by frame. But there's the gather step right there, right? So now you got to step back. Now you take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps after the gather. They're calling that a travel all day. Especially probably the fact that Tyrese Maxey doesn't have the respect from the officials that, James Harden and others have. But I've seen him do it in a game also and get away with it by, dribbling, getting that gather step much before he picks up the ball. But I guess technically the gather step only starts. So this is where, it gets a little, the line gets blurred, right, in the NBA with the traveling rules, right? The gather step is while you're gathering the ball. But you don't get 3 gather steps, right? You can't take 3 steps while you're gathering the ball, right? Yeah, it's a travel. But I'm glad he's working on some moves. I'm glad he's working on some one-on-one stuff. I really want to see Tyrese Maxey this season be a little bit more of an ISO player, be a little bit more of a one-on-one kind of guy, a little bit more of a you can give me the ball when you need a bucket, and I can go get it. And we've seen him do it from time to time. He's shown flashes. But I think that's, and he said it in that interview also. But I think that's, that's the step that he's going to take this season from year 2 to year 3. You're going to see a lot more ISO Maxey. You're going to see a lot more confidence. You're going to see a lot more one-on-one game. You're going to see a lot more him breaking down a defender and getting his own shot versus, last season playing alongside James Harden, where he kind of just fed off of James and Joel and was the catch-and-shoot guy out there outside the three-point line and was a guy who would just flash to the basket in open space because the defense was paying attention to James and paying attention to Joel. So I think you're going to see a lot more one-on-one from Tyrese Maxey this upcoming season, and I'm excited for it. But, your question, Chris Johnson, is that a travel? That specifically is a yes from me. What else we got on Tyrese Maxey? There's a couple other videos. Here's a clip of him at 5:53 a.m. in the gym. 5:53 a.m., man. My kid wakes up. If my kid wakes up that early, I make him go back to bed, bro. What are you doing? This is not human. Nobody wakes up that early. I don't know. Some of you guys might. Maybe you guys are at work right now after waking up that early. There's another workout video here. I just got to get to it. There's the one that I posted yesterday of him adding a little floater to his game, if you haven't seen this one. The little one-footed mid-range, I like this a lot. I've seen him do it before. But again, I think you're going to see him do a lot more things like this upcoming season. Little hesitation here. Am I going to the rim? Am I stepping back? Where am I going? Ooh, 1 foot fadeaway midi. Oh, look at the form. And a lot of people, when I talked about the Donovan Mitchell situation, and a lot of people said, hey, look, man, if Tyrese Maxey had 25 shots a game, he would score exactly what Donovan Mitchell scores. And I think that's true. And we don't need him to necessarily. But you want to see him be more of a focal point of the offense, right? You want to see him be more of a 1C. 1A, 1B, 1C, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey. That has a little bit to do with Doc Rivers. Hopefully that doesn't have too much to do with Doc Rivers because we can't rely on Doc Rivers at all to do the right thing. All right? I don't give Doc Rivers much credit for developing Tyrese Maxey. I think this kid's just a workhorse, and he developed himself. I think his shooting coaches like Chris Johnson and others have a lot to do with it. I think Sam Cassell has a lot to do with it. I think James Harden last season had a lot to do with it. But you would like to see him be more of the focal point of the offense in some of those playoff games when he only had 8 shot attempts. When James Harden only had 2 shot attempts in a second half, those are the games where you would like to see him be a big-time focus of the offense. When that defense is throwing the kitchen sink at Joel Embiid, or Joel Embiid has a broken face and a torn ligament in his thumb, I want 20-plus shot attempts from Tyrese Maxey. That's what I want. I want 20-plus shot attempts from Tyrese Maxey. And if he gets that, he very well could average more points per game than James Harden. Not that it matters, but I think realistically we should expect and maybe hope for about 15. About 15 shot attempts per game from Tyrese Maxey, I think would be perfect in this James Harden, Joel Embiid centered offense. And here's the other one where he's working on these around the basket finishes.
Google.
Get ready, let's go. I don't need to get copyright for the music, man. The around the basket finishes. Listen, I already think Tyrese Maxey is one of the best finishers in the NBA. As far as guys with a layup package, right? First name off the top is always Kyrie Irving to me. The best finisher around the basket I've ever seen. Ever. Right hand, left hand, English, up and under, through 2 defenders, through in the trenches, not even looking at the rim. The dude's incredible. I think Tyrese Maxey has the ability and has the work ethic to get to that level. Allen Iverson, me growing up watching Allen Iverson, one of the best finishers around the rim I've ever seen at his size. Obviously, Allen Iverson wasn't out here dunking on people. His rookie season, he was throwing down some dunks. His first couple years, he was throwing down some dunks, but realistically, in the prime of his career, He had a layup package, and he was finishing over everybody, in between, outside, inside, splitting a power forward and a center, and back then there was 2 7-footers on the floor. So, I really think Tyrese Maxey has that potential to become one of the best finishers in the NBA. And when you think about the fact that he shot 42.7% from 3 last season, and then you see him working one-on-one, you see him working on dribble moves, step backs, taking defenders off the dribble, and then you're seeing him working on these finishes around the rim, the little left foot, right hand, left foot, right hand, right foot, left hand, unorthodox, little running hook shots. He's just working on, I don't know if, you would actually do a shot like that in the game. Maybe he would, but he's really just working on his touch around the rim, and he already has incredible touch around the rim. So, driving ability, shooting ability, and finishing at the rim ability. Kid has insane potential. Potential to be a star. And I saw you, Bubba. I saw you early in the comments. You said trade Tyrese Maxey for Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, and Seth Curry. First of all, I don't think the Nets are doing that. Second of all, I don't think you know how money works in the NBA. But anyway, we're not trading Tyrese Maxey for anything. So keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming, Bubba. Keep dreaming. Shout out to everybody in here, man. 133 people in here. Thanks for being here. Now let's get to my guy Sean Bernard, the clip that I found of Sean Bernard, and I hit him up and said, "Yo, can I use this clip in my show?" And he said, "Absolutely, man." This is the Pick Swap podcast. Be sure to go search that up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to the Pick Swap podcast. Go to the YouTube channel right here, Pick Swap. What's the YouTube channel? That's Pick Swap Media on YouTube. So go ahead and go subscribe to that. And here's what Sean said. His reasoning for believing that Tyrese Maxey could average more points per game this upcoming season than James Harden.
Yeah, so Maxey averaged 17.5 per game last year. Harden averaged throughout the year 22. He averaged 21 with the Sixers and 22.5 with the Nets. If I'm comparing them for this year, I'm taking Tyrese Maxey to outscore James Harden. And I don't necessarily mean that as a dig at Harden at all. I think his playmaking is one of the major keys in this. And I think that hasn't been acknowledged enough what a benefit that his addition has been for Tyrese Maxey's growth. Because as much as Tyrese Maxey's frame size would indicate he's a point guard, that's really not his game. He's a guy that's at his best scoring the basketball. So I think it's awesome to have a full year of Harden letting him be fully unlocked, letting Maxey do his thing. And I do think he outscores James Harden this year. I would probably put the number. I do think Maxey eclipses 20 for sure. I think he's probably going to be in the 22 range. And I think Harden's a little notch below that. Yeah.
I like it, Sean. I like it. I needed that today. I needed that. Because guess what? If you get your 30 a game from Joel Embiid, and if you get 22 from Maxey, and you get a 21, 10, and 10, 21, 9, and 8, 21, 8, and 9 from James Harden, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big three, and that's a championship team. And I think he's right. I think James Harden's at the point in his career where, we know he's not going to be Houston Harden anymore. We want him to get back to what he was doing in Brooklyn, which he averaged 22.5 per game in Brooklyn. He averaged 21-ish in Philadelphia. His points per game took that little bit of a hit, I believe, because he was playing with Joel Embiid, because the whole offense is centered around Joel Embiid. There's a lot of things to figure out. That's why, only playing together for 2 or 3 months wasn't enough. We knew it wasn't enough, really. We knew we didn't have a shot at winning a championship last season, and then Embiid gets hurt or whatever. But I think at the age James Harden is at, if he can come back and be in great shape, fully healthy, no hamstring issues, He can give you that 21-point triple-double. He can be that masterful distributor, that just court vision, run the pick and roll, get his shots when he needs to get his shots. But if Doc Rivers is smart and the coaching staff is smart, and I think they are, I don't know about Doc Rivers, but I think the rest of the coaching staff is smart enough to understand James should be the facilitator. Score when you need him to. Get your buckets, obviously. Get your one-on-ones. Get your ISOs. Get your dribble, step back. Add a little mid-range to your game, maybe. You know? Get a little more lift in those legs, finishing at the rim. But Tyrese Maxey should be a straight-up scoring machine. And Sean's right here. He said you've seen Tyrese Maxey and them try to run him at point guard, and that's not his game. He's not a facilitating point guard, and he's not. He's not naturally a facilitator. He's naturally a lightning-quick scorer. So, yeah, I think if James Harden is the facilitator on this team and averages the 10 assists per game that he averaged last season, which, by the way, is ridiculous for any NBA player to average ever. You don't see those kind of numbers, even from the best point guards of all time, Chris Paul's of the world. You see 8s, you see 9s. Players start averaging over 10 assists per game. Shows his level of facilitating, his level of distributing, just how good he is at finding guys and how good he is at putting the ball in the right spot. So if James Harden gives you that, and Joel is healthy and gives you his 30 points per game, because nobody's stopping him from doing that. We know that. Tyrese Maxey should fit right in there and give you 22 a game. I'm with you on this, Sean. I think that. I believe that. I agree with that. And Tobias, listen, man. We know what you're paid. We know you're a max contract player, or you were at the time that we paid you, or we just were forced to pay you because Jimmy left. You need to get this through your head. You're the catch and shoot guy. You're the number 4. You're the stretch power forward. You catch the ball and you shoot threes, and you play hard defense. But you're the number 4. All right? Because we've seen it. Well, we saw it last season. Sometimes it looks like Tyrese Maxey gets on a little bit of a run, and Tobias Harris gets the ball and says, my turn. My turn. I'm the money man here. And then he dribbles the ball for 20 seconds to get a little step back, fade away, post jumper, which is, not needed. Probably ever. It's needed at times, but you know what I'm saying, man. Let's come on, Tobias. Jay Rent says more Tobias slander. I see. I just can't stop. I've never seen a Tobias Harris fanboy, so Jay Rent, if you're one of those, bro, kind of odd to me, but Who comes in a stream like, stop talking about Tobias Harris? Who cares about Tobias Harris as an NBA player? Nobody talks about Tobias Harris. He has defenders? Come on, bro. Tobias Harris is a player. That's what he is. He's a player. Good player? Sure. Good to have on your team? Yes. Why does he have defenders? He's not a star. Come on, man. Anyway, that's the clip from Sean Bernard. Let me know what you guys think. What you guys think in the chat? What you guys think? Will Tobias Harris average more points per game than James Harden? Jay Renz, 50, 40, 90 splits, let's not forget. Yes, that's very good. That's a very good fourth option. But also, who cares? Who cares, bro? I can get a fourth option anywhere. The only reason Tobias Harris is still on this team is because you absolutely cannot trade him because he's not good enough for that money. And you know that. You know that. Stop lying to yourself. You can lie to yourself all you want. One person you're not going to lie to is me. This is eye test Eastwood up here. I don't care about your 50, 40, 90. I'm eye test Eastwood. I watched the game. 50, 40, 90 is cool till you give me 2 points in a fourth quarter. You guys say no? No, Maxey won't average more than Harden. Nick, you say no? It's your boy. I'd still rather have Harris and Barnes and a bench piece from the Kings than Tobias. I would too, but I don't think the Kings are trading for Tobias. We thought the Kings would trade for Tobias Harris because they were dumb enough to trade a future, possibly great point guard in Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis. But even the Kings won't trade for Tobias Harris. Even the Sacramento Kings. All right, a couple more things. Look, man. The Philadelphia 76ers have the 8th best title odds in the NBA. Oh, the disrespect. The disrespect. How are they sleeping on us like this right now? On DraftKings, they have the 8th best title odds in the NBA. Now, clearly that's because there's a lot of ifs. There's just a lot of ifs. When you're talking about betting, where do you want to put your money? Do you want to put your money on Joel Embiid being healthy throughout the entire playoffs, which he unfortunately has not been yet in his career? Do you want to put your money on James Harden getting back to that, in his own words, elite level that he knows he could play at? Do you want to put your money on that? So I get it. But I think we're better than 8th. And if we're healthy, we are much better than 8th. But the Sixers have the 8th best title odds according to DraftKings right now in the NBA. Oh, I messed it up. So let's just read this article real quick. It's no secret that the 76ers have championship aspirations with back-to-back MVP runner-up on the roster, Joel Embiid. The real MVP, by the way. You can go ahead and get you one of those at runitbackmerch.com. Former MVP James Harden. James Harden has seemingly made winning a title his top priority. But were those moves, all the moves Daryl Morey made, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, were those moves enough to get Philadelphia over the hump as of this writing on July 6th? And this is written by Sean Kennedy at Philly Fast Break. As of writing this on July 26th, DraftKings lists the Sixers at 1,400 odds to win the 2022-23 NBA championship. The 8th highest odds in the league behind the Celtics. Now, there's one in here. There's a team in here that really blows my mind when you talk about title odds, when you talk about what they looked like last season, when you talk about the issues they are facing with current overpaid players on their roster. There's a team in here that should not be in here. But anyway, the 8 teams they have ahead of the 7 teams they have ahead of the Sixers are the Celtics, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Bucks, the Suns, the Lakers, and the Heat. All right, so first of all, I'm going to give you the Celtics. I'm fine with that. They just went to the NBA Finals, and they added Malcolm Brogdon in the offseason after a full season of running Marcus Smart at point guard, who's not a facilitating point guard. They add a veteran, traditional style facilitating point guard who can shoot low 40% from three-point range, high 30s, low 40s from three-point range. So that makes the Celtics even better than they were last year on paper. So the Celtics I'm fine with. Now you got the Clippers up there who weren't healthy all last season. Kawhi Leonard seems to always be hurt. Paul George seems to always be hurt. So like I said, I first said they had the Sixers at 8th because it's a big if Joel Embiid is healthy. Now that I look at the list, how can you have the Clippers there? Because that's a big if. Yeah, if the Clippers are healthy. And they added John Wall. So you got if Kawhi's healthy, if Paul George is healthy, and if John Wall took a drink out of the fountain of youth. So get the Clippers out off this list. That's too big of an if for me if we're talking about that. The Warriors, okay, obviously. Warriors, Celtics, I'll put them 1 and 2. The Bucks are always right there. You can't count out, Giannis and the good supporting cast that they put around him every season. The Suns. I think the West is kind of weak, to be honest. I think the East is actually stronger than the West at this point. But anyway, you got the Suns, with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Mikal Bridges, who should be on the Sixers, and the deep team that they have had for a couple seasons now. You got to put the Suns there. The Lakers, bruh, again, a big if. If Anthony Davis is healthy. Not only if he's healthy, if he can stay healthy. The dude finally came back last season and then sprained his ankle again and was out for the season again. You got Russell Westbrook on that squad who opted into $47 million because he knows he might not get paid anymore because he's not good anymore. Now you got a massive contract for Russell Westbrook and the guy stinks. And he's out here shooting you out of games. The Lakers are a mess right now. How are they up there? So realistically, because I'm putting the Sixers over the Heat too. Because if Joel Embiid's healthy last season, we beat the Heat in the playoffs. We're already a better team than the Heat last season without our upgrades, without our DeAnthony Melton, PJ Tucker, Daniel House. Without our upgrades from the bench, without James Harden getting back in shape, without Tyrese Maxey taking another leap forward, we're already better than the Heat. And Kyle Lowry's on his way out of here. The guy's almost in a wheelchair at this point. He has one leg left. So I got the Sixers behind the Celtics, Warriors, the Suns, because they haven't had injury history. At least recently. Chris Paul has throughout his career, of course, but did he get injured on the Suns? Celtics, Warriors, Bucks, Suns. I got the Sixers at 5 right now. If I was a betting man, I got the Sixers at 5 right now. I think they're clearly ahead of the Clippers. I think that's a bigger if. I think the Lakers are a massive if, and I think we're better than the Miami Heat. So anyway, that's where we're at with the Sixers. Title odds. I got us at number 5. That's where I got us. What you guys talking about in the chat? I don't know about the Warriors. They don't want to give Draymond a max contract. They don't? DJ, bet a mortgage payment on our title odds. No. Actually, number 8. You know what? I might not bet it. I might not bet a mortgage payment on our title odds, but I'll tell you guys what right now, man. If you get this stream /video /whatever to 500 likes, I will bet $500 on the Philadelphia 76ers to win the 2022 NBA championship. If you get this stream to 500 likes. I know there's only 160 people in here right now, but a lot of people watch them back. So if you're watching this back right now, you should hit the like button. If you're watching it right now in the stream, you should hit the like button. If this stream gets 500 likes, I will put 500 on the Sixers to win the 2022 NBA championship. Bam! There you saw it. Harden's going to average 25, 26 per game. Nick says 25 or 26. I feel like that's a lot for him at this stage, playing alongside Joel Embiid. I think the offense is centered around Joel. I think it's hard for James to have that kind of scoring output. But, I mean, if he does, yeah, that'd be great. Stan says, DJ, keep your money and buy your kid something nice, man. What? I buy my kid nice things all the time, literally 24/7. What do you think? Do you think I only have that much money? You think that's all my money? Come on, man. How you know how much money I have? What you guys talking about, man? Embiid turned his back on Cameroon. Don't bet on a backstabber and a player made of glass who doesn't show up in playoff time. We got an Embiid hater in the chat, bro? How did this happen? When did this start? I don't remember Embiid haters being a thing. I don't remember Embiid haters existing. What? I'm not even going to give that airtime, bro. Not even going to give that airtime. All right, so what we got next, man? Should the Sixers run with Paul Reed and Charles Bassey, or should they sign a veteran backup center? And if you think they should sign a veteran backup center, and I've scoffed at this a couple of times now, when people bring it up in the chat, when people bring it up on the show, in my comments, whatever else, on the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, wherever else. I'm not really active on TikTok. I'm joking. But, with Charles Bassey kind of underwhelming me in the summer league, I go back and forth on him as the backup center because I've seen him play well in the NBA against one Nikola Jokic back in November of 2021. But I go back and forth. Paul Reed, energy guy, rebounder. Don't think he has a whole lot of basketball skills, and fouls a lot. So, can both of those guys fill in that 10 to 15 minutes a game at the backup center position? I would like to think so. Or, I got something for you, chat. Matty Bryce on Fansided writes an article that says Philadelphia 76ers don't laugh off the idea of signing Hassan Whiteside. Now, look. I feel like Hassan Whiteside is 100% washed, right? He had those years in Miami where he looked like a stud. He kind of broke out after being falling in the draft or going undrafted. I don't remember his exact story, but I remember him being counted out as an NBA player and then just broke out, came out of nowhere those couple of years in Miami, and was a dominant, 7-footer, shot blocker, rim runner, alley-oop catcher, etc. Would it be a good idea for the Sixers to look at Hassan Whiteside at backup center? The more that I look at it, the more that I look at, Paul Reed and Charles Bassey, and I think, look, Hassan Whiteside, if he's got something left in the tank, and you can get him on a veteran minimum, the biggest if is if he's got something left in the tank, right? And you can get him on a veteran minimum. I say, sure, why not, to signing Hassan Whiteside. I say, sure, why not? Because I as much as I hate to say it, I would trust Hassan Whiteside at those backup minutes more than I would trust Paul Reed right now, more than I would trust Charles Bassey right now. And that sucks, because I'm a Paul Reed, Charles Bassey advocate. So here's the article. On paper, the idea was sound. Reed could log the bulk of the team's minutes behind any given game as a switch-happy defender who could be a force around the hoop. And on the off chance an opposing team had a bigger center, well, Charles Bassey could enter the game and shore that right up. And yet, after watching Bassey play less than inspired basketball during the Summer League, can the team really count on him to play double-digit minutes against a bigger team like the New York Knicks? Or what about in games where Joel Embiid is unable to go? Could Bassey realistically hold things down for half of a game, or are those contests more or less destined to be losses? If that concern is echoed by the coaching staff and the front office professionals at the Sixers practice complex in Camden, then it may be worth reaching out to another former Joel Embiid rival to see if he's down to play a limited role as the bigger counterpart to Paul Reed. So, you get him for a veteran minimum. We still have 2 vet minimum slots that we could sign players, so there's definitely a very high potential of something like this happening. And yeah, I like the way that he put this in the writing, It's kind of, is Charles Bassey ready? We've seen what Paul Reed can do as far as his rebounding and his energy. So you would slide Hassan Whiteside in there to rotate with Paul Reed, depending on matchups. Paul Reed against a smaller team, Hassan Whiteside against a bigger team. Gives me a little bit of DeAndre Jordan vibes. Gives me a little bit of Doc Rivers loves old players, and maybe we shouldn't do that just because Doc would go crazy with Hassan Whiteside, and he would play him at all of the backup center minutes, and Paul Reed would be shelved again, and the fan base would get mad at Doc Rivers, and then he would fight the reporters in post-game press conferences, and we'd be in the same situation we were in last year. So I'm torn, kind of, between this. What you guys are saying in the chat. Whiteside, yes or no? Yes to Whiteside. September, I'd go for it. Jason O'Connell just hoping Paul Reed develops. I don't know if he's going to. I don't really see Paul Reed developing. I think Paul Reed is the player that he is right now. He's a hustle guy. He's a rebounder. He's a defender. The only development I see out of Paul Reed moving forward is really, being better at defending without fouling every 30 seconds. That's the only real development I see coming out of Paul Reed. I don't see him developing much more than that. That's just what I think. Ernest says yes. Boogie Cousins is better than Hassan. Boogie re-signed with somebody, didn't he? I mean, I agree with you. Boogie Cousins is better than Hassan Whiteside. Is DeMarcus Cousins a free agent? I thought he signed with somebody. I thought he signed with the Denver Nuggets again. I don't know. I don't know where Boogie Cousins is. Yeah, Dwight Howard. Hassan just turned 33. He's still got a lot left in the tank. I like that. Now that you put his age out there. I didn't put his age out there. Stan, thank you for that. Hassan is 33. That makes me feel better about a Hassan Whiteside signing. DeAndre Jordan was 36, almost 37 when Doc Rivers was obsessed with playing him at the backup center. Dwight Howard was 36 at the time that we had him. And yeah, I don't know about. I loved Dwight Howard's time here, and I don't know what Dwight Howard would look like at backup center with maybe staggered with James Harden or Tyrese Maxey or who knows. Boogie Cousins still a free agent. Oh, the Nuggets signed DeAndre Jordan. That's right, Lance. Thanks for that, man. I forgot about that. The Nuggets signed DeAndre Jordan. Well, what I have to say about that is, DeAndre should thank Doc Rivers for still giving him playing time last season because the dude was out of the league. I mean, he couldn't get on the floor in Brooklyn. He was out of the league. Literally, he was out of the league. Doc gave him a little bit of shine. He got smoked. Absolutely smoked. I mean, he sucked. But I guess Denver management didn't really watch the games closely. They just said, hey, he played some minutes for the Sixers last season. Here's his stats. He can play backup center for us. Boom. So shout out to DeAndre Jordan still getting his money. 184 people in here, man. What's up? El Kopic, DJ, I'm spamming this because I need your take, but Luka or Embiid? I feel like recency bias is overrating Luka. I think that's a impossible question to answer. They're two totally different players. If Joel Embiid's healthy, he wins you a championship. If I was building a team right now for the future, yes. Just because of Joel Embiid's injury history, I got to be honest with you. If I was building a team right now for the future, yes, obviously I'm taking 22-year-old Luka Doncic, who's a top point guard in the NBA right now. Yes, because I know you're going to have that kid leading your team for 10-plus years. So obviously, I mean, that should be obvious. Yes. Yes. If the Mavs were insane and they said to me right now, hey, we'll give you Luka Doncic for Joel Embiid, yes, I would blow the entire thing up right now and start over with Luka Doncic. I don't think that's crazy to say. I really don't. I don't think that's crazy to say. But thanks for the question. Whiteside is actually a very good defensive center who is worth a contract in the $2.36 million range. He's maintained a positive defensive Raptor rating. We know how much I love the Raptor stat in every season since the stat started being recorded. It's a 1.4, which is identical to PJ Tucker's number. Whiteside can soak up big minutes if need be. In Joel Embiid's absence, he averaged over 27 minutes a night, but after averaging just 16.9 minutes per game over the past 2 seasons and choosing to sign with Utah despite already having a knockout center in place effectively proves that he's accepted his slot as a backup big. In a perfect world, the Sixers would go to Paul Reed and Charles Bassey as their backup centers, but it might be wise to target a veteran traditional center like Whiteside who can compete with Bassey and play in big ball lineups for when Reed is getting beaten on the boards. I like that article, and I can't totally disagree. I don't see a negative to signing Hassan Whiteside to a veteran minimum. I don't see a negative. I don't see a downside to that at all. That can only help the team. That can only help the backup center position. That can only add competition to the backup center position between Bassey, Paul Reed, and Hassan Whiteside. And I don't see a negative to signing really any veteran backup center on a minimum contract. The only downside I see is that, would Doc Rivers get obsessed with that player, and would Doc Rivers be choosing that player over players who obviously should be in a certain matchup? And the answer might be yes. The answer might be yes. Doc Rivers would say, hey, I have a 33-year-old. I don't care about the matchup. I'm playing him instead. So you always got to think about the Doc Rivers effect on the team. You always got to think about the Doc Rivers effect, man. All right, just for fun, let's go right ahead and back to the topic of the Kevin Durant situation, because the Brooklyn Nets, again, still think that they are going to get someone's entire team for Kevin Durant, who just quit on the Nets and will quit on you too. James Harden quit on the Nets, but James Harden came here and proved already by taking less money that he wants to win, and he's buying in, and he's interested. He's interested in this team and this team moving forward and the potential of this team. And he's probably happy because he sees a lot of potential in this team, not just in Joel Embiid, but he sees potential in the young Tyrese Maxey. And he's with Daryl Morey, and he got his boys and PJ Tucker and Daniel House, on and on and on. Kevin Durant, he doesn't want to be somewhere unless there's 3 stars. Now, it's funny that he was on the Warriors. And he walked away. You walked away. You walked away from the best team, the best regular season team of all time. You guys were winning championships without breaking a sweat. All you had to do was hang out until the fourth quarter and be the hero every single game. Finals MVP Kevin Durant. He walked away. And then there was talks between the Warriors and the Nets on a trade. Hey, do you guys want Kevin Durant back? Now, I don't think the Warriors should want Kevin Durant back at all. I think their chemistry is amazing. I think their depth is amazing. I think they play incredible perimeter defense. I think they have all they need. As long as they stay healthy, the Warriors are winning 3 more in the next 5. So they shouldn't be wanting to trade for Kevin Durant in the first place. But the Nets asked for Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, and first-round picks. Are you guys out of your mind? Andrew Wiggins was actually a large part of their success last season. And is younger and healthier and less of a little diva. I'm not doing that trade at all. So the Warriors say, yeah, no thanks. So the talks between the Nets and Warriors have reportedly fizzled out because of that. Man, where's this Kevin Durant situation going to go? Yeah, Jordan Poole had a huge part off the bench, K. I agree with that. Where's this Kevin Durant situation going to go? Because the Nets keep asking for franchises' entire rosters and first-round draft picks. And the franchise just watched this guy quit on you, and they're saying, too much of a risk. Too much of a risk for me to give up my entire future. Way too much of a risk. Now, he's probably just asking for way too much because it's the beginning of the offseason. You know, you get closer to the start of NBA training camp, you'll start to see that price tag come down probably. But yeah. The Sixers are in trouble if Boston gets Kevin Durant. I agree with that. I do agree with that. That's a scary thought. That is a scary thought. King Kane, shout out to you in the chat. That is a scary thought. Boston getting Kevin Durant. They offered Jaylen Brown and a draft pick. They said, we will give you an all-star level player who is just 25 years old and a draft pick. And the Nets said, nah, we want more. We want more. We want Marcus Smart and more draft picks. Are you insane? Are you insane? But I agree with you. If they do reach a common ground, Boston and Brooklyn, and Boston trades Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant, they might be the title favorites over a healthy Warriors at that point. And then Jaylen Brown tweeted out SMH when he found out that the Boston offered him up. But come on, Jaylen. It's a business. You know how this goes. You know how this goes. You can be traded at any... It's Kevin Durant, bro. It's Kevin Durant. I don't want the Sixers to trade Tyrese Maxey, but if Daryl would pull the trigger, I wouldn't be that shocked. It's Kevin Durant. If you're not giving up your entire roster for the guy, Boston gets him for Jaylen Brown and a first-round pick, you can't be mad at being traded for Kevin Durant. I mean, whatever. I wouldn't do it. But I wouldn't be shocked if somebody does. Rasan Granderson, my man. What's up, bro? Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate the support. Rasan says, I deliver for Amazon, listening to the podcast while I drive, and I got a couple people who asked who I was listening to. Keep it up. Let's get a ring next season. Yeah! Shout out to Amazon, bro. Shout out to Rasan, delivering Amazon packages. Thanks for listening to the show while you drive, man. I appreciate that. And tell the people I said, what's up, man? Run it back Philly, bro. They don't know. They're not hip. They're not on it. Let's go. They're behind the times. Oh, man. Thank you for the support, as always. LeBron James and Kevin Durant together on the Wizards in 2023. Now you're getting a little crazy, bro. Richie, you're getting crazy on me. I don't think they're going to... Tez says, not if they give up Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Robert Williams. I don't think they're giving up Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. That's what the Nets wanted. That's what Boston said no thanks to. Or Brooklyn said no thanks to the original offer and countered with that. And I agree. If they're giving up that much, nah. I wouldn't give up that much. I wouldn't give up Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams and draft picks. I wouldn't do that much. If you get him straight up for Jaylen Brown, I would do it. And I love Jaylen Brown. I would love Jaylen Brown in this squad. I really wish I could go back in time and we could have drafted Jaylen Brown instead of that fraud bum Ben Simmons. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right, so listen. If you if you didn't see my video yesterday on the topic of the Philadelphia Eagles and old radio hosts jumping onto YouTube and saying ridiculous things for clickbait, Dan Cilio yesterday, and I'm going to do a little bit of some Eagles talk here towards the end of this stream, and then I'm going to get up out of here. So yesterday, Dan Cilio, I came across a clip of him saying that the Sixers should have drafted Nazir. Now I forget his name, man. The Steelers running back that they drafted. They should have drafted him over Devontae Smith, and I thought that was ridiculous. I thought that made no sense at all, and I just thought Dan Cilio was being a hater. So I tweeted him, and I said, why in the world would you think the Eagles should have drafted a running back in 2021 over Devonta Smith? And I need more than Harris had more catches than Smith. That's a ridiculous reasoning without context. And Dan Cilio hits me back on Twitter, and he says, and he had 1,200 rushing yards behind the second worst O-line in the league. You have a wide receiver that the current quarterback can't find in games. Hunter Renfrow had a better season than Devontae Smith. Read a book, dude. Bro, tell the people you're 60 plus years old without telling the people. Read a book, dude. Who says that? Anyway, so yeah, Dan Cilio doubles down on his Devontae Smith slander. I never thought this existed. I didn't think Devontae Smith slander was a thing. The kid is an absolute stud. Broke the Eagles' rookie receiving record year one. I mean, why are we slandering Devontae Smith? This makes no sense. And why would the Eagles draft a running back at number 10 overall last season when we had no receivers whatsoever? And we already have a running game. And also, I think Nick is one of the people that commented on this and said he's also not taking into account that running backs are a dime a dozen in the NFL now these days, man. A number one stud receiver is much more valuable than a running back. This isn't 1995. Every team rotates 2, 3, 4 running backs. Najee Harris, I'm sorry. Robert says Najee Harris is a top 5 running back in the NFL. I agree with that. The Eagles were not drafting a running back at number 10 in the damn draft. That's ridiculous. Nobody does that anymore. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Pollard looked better than Ezekiel Elliott last season. They took him number 4. Look at the Todd Gurley contract. Adrian Peterson was a stud in Minnesota for like 10 years, never even came close to winning anything. A great running back in the NFL, it's becoming more and more clear that a great running back is a shiny car that can't take you to work. It's a shiny car that you can park in front of your house and show off. It's a nice looking Ferrari. You know, people walk by and say, damn, man, nice car. Nice car, man. Damn, look at that car. It can't take you to work. You can't drive it. A stud running back sells jerseys, sells tickets, and doesn't really add much overall value to your team when it comes to trying to get to the promised land. Offensive line, a good, accurate quarterback. We're going to get there. Offensive line is the main thing, man. You can get another 22-year-old college running back to step right in there, get the ball, and run through the hole. Nobody's drafting a running back at number 10 anymore. I would be shocked. That's why he was the first running back off the board, and he fell to 24. The first running back in the whole draft, first running back taken was 24 overall. Out of Alabama, he was a big-name running back. Years ago, he would have been a top 5 draft pick. He went to 24 because nobody's taking running backs that high anymore. So knock it off, Dan Sileo. You're lying to yourself, and you know it. And stop blaming Devontae Smith for Jalen Hurts not being able to find him. Jalen Hurts can't find anybody. He's 5'10" and is busy running around. He won't stay in a damn pocket long enough to find anybody. And Devontae Smith still broke the rookie receiving record. Give me a break here. Imagine what Devontae Smith is about to do with a traditional 6'5" pocket passer. Devontae Smith, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. Because in 2 or 3 years when this happens, you can come back to this video. I'm saying it right now. Devontae Smith, with a 6'5" pocket passer, will lead the NFL in receiving. Catches and yards. Devontae Smith, when he finally has a 6'5" pocket passer, he will lead the NFL in receiving, in receptions and yards. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Now, speaking of Jalen Hurts, shout out to my dude, Lord Brunson, on YouTube. I love to see content creators shine. I love to see content creators get the love that they deserve. I love to see content creators get attention on more of a mainstream stage. I love it. Lord Brunson, last season put out the Hurts season hats. And A.J. Brown, who has been Jalen Hurts, who has been defending Jalen Hurts online, saying, the training camp stats are a lie. The stories about him struggling in practice are a lie. You guys are making things up. And he fully believes and he fully backs Jalen Hurts, and he should do that. Of course he's going to do that. You want that. You want your play. You don't want your players to be out here being like, I don't know, man. Like, it's not like A.J. Brown's going to come out and say, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy, bro. Like, so, of course you're going to support your dude, man, and I like it. So A.J. Brown hits up Lord Brunson and says, how do I get one of those hats? And he sends him the link. And A.J. Brown clicks the link, and he buys a damn hat. Shout out to A.J. Brown for being a real one for that, man. That's dope. And the photo came out today, the video of A.J. Brown getting out of his car at training camp, and he's wearing the Hurts season hat. So, shout out to Lord Brunson, man. I love to see people get shine. Now there's a whole bunch of reporters, writing tweeting about A.J. Brown wearing the Hurts season hat. It would be nice if Brunson could have a link to the hat on every single one of these posts. You know what I mean? That would be cool. You can make a lot of money selling a lot of these hats. So, hey, Brunson, I hope you sell 1 million of these hats. All right? But I hope you sell 1 million of them this season, because after this season, unfortunately, the hat is going to be null and void. But that's just me. That's just me. I don't see it. Now, speaking of Jalen Hurts and what I've said 1 million times about his passing ability, and what I've said about his passing deficiencies, and what I've said about whether or not I believe he can be a future NFL franchise quarterback. We got a couple clips from training camp today already, and shout out to the people. Shout out to the beat reporters, man, because just thank you. Dave Zangaro, man, thank you. Because what's better than having video of training camp? You know what I mean? What's better than that, man? That's what we want. We don't just want Elliott Shore-Parks out here posting the stats. Jalen Hurts in his first 11 on 11s, went 6 for 10 with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Like, we know the stats don't matter. We know the stats don't matter. So shout out to the guys getting video. So here he posts the photo. Practice starts in an hour. Here he posts a photo of Nick Sirianni wearing the Jalen Hurts t-shirt. Hey, I love the confidence. I love the belief. I love the camaraderie. I love backing up your guy. Nick Sirianni says he saw Jalen Hurts making quicker decisions during OTAs as he enters the second season in this offense. So we're admitting what some of the deficiencies were last season. Y'all been telling me Jalen Hurts is working on it. He's going to work on it. He's going to come back. He's going to be better. One of his main issues was quite obviously his timing and his decision making. I don't know if it's really making quicker decisions. I need Hurts to maybe take his time more. He would make one read and run. You know what I mean? He'd make one read and run. I need him to make 2 reads, man. I need you to stand in the pocket. You run from clean pockets too much. A.J. Brown in his first practice of the summer. I'm excited for this, man. And if Hurts can get him the ball where they need it, I'm going to be right here giving him all the credit in the world for making good throws. Adding A.J. Brown is massive, man. And here's a clip of A.J. Brown. Let me make sure I don't get copyright with the music. Here's a clip of A.J. Brown at his first practice with the Philadelphia Eagles, day 1 of training camp. A little jump catch, who's throwing the ball? I don't know who's throwing the ball there. I think probably one of the trainers. They're practicing probably catching the ball at its highest point. You know what I mean? Those kind of drills. I love that. A.J. Brown's an absolute stud, a physical specimen. Has great hands, has great speed, has great size. Look at him go up and get that ball, man. Go up and get that ball, AJ. I'm excited. I'm excited to see A.J. Brown in an Eagles uniform. Now here we got the Eagles' top 3 receivers, posted by Dave Zangaro. There's Devontae Smith. Kind of hard to see from this angle. Don't give me copyright. Don't get me copyright, Dave. Kind of hard to see from this angle. That is Devontae Smith right there on a little slant. Then number 2, you got A.J. Brown's wearing 11, right? Yeah. Number 2, you got A.J. Brown. Who's number 3? Jalen Reagor. We got Jalen Reagor. Is that Reagor or is that Quez? Is that Jalen Reagor? We're listening to him at number 3 right now. Listen, guys, I don't think anybody can argue with me when I say this. Quez Watkins is the number 3. Quez Watkins was the number 2 last season. Quez Watkins is the number 3. Quez Watkins is the number 3. I'm over Jalen Reagor. Howie, I know you drafted him high. I know you're paying him that rookie scale contract. Jalen Reagor stinks. Jalen Reagor has no work ethic. He complains. He argues with fans on Twitter. He doesn't have it, man. Unfortunately, I don't want to see Jalen Reagor anymore. Is that Pascal? Is that who that is? Reagor isn't even top 5 on the team. I agree. AJ, Devontae, and Quez. I agree. I agree with that. And now here you have the clip that I found that I was a little bit shocked at. Now, I've seen Jalen Hurts make some good throws. And people that call me a hater, you call me a hater all you want. I'm not saying he never makes a good throw. I'm saying it's about the consistency, right? He'll make a good throw, and then he'll make 5 or 6 really bad ones. Or he'll just miss a guy 10 yards to the right, 10 yards to the left. He'll pull the receiver left or right. They got to come back for the ball, on and on and on. But anyway, here's Jalen Hurts throwing the ball to A.J. Brown, day one of Philadelphia Eagles training camp. Okay, we don't want to get copyright if there's music, man. We don't want to get it. Woo! I like that. I'm gonna admit it right here. I'm gonna admit it right here. Jalen Hurts. That's a perfectly thrown football right there. That's a perfectly thrown football, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if you can do that more consistently, I will be the first one to sit right up here and say, you are the guy. I was wrong. I'll apologize. I'll put out a whole apology video. Nice route by A.J. Brown. A fade to the corner of the end zone, and Hurts puts it bang on the money in the back corner, and he drags the toes, man. Let's look at the mechanics. Do the mechanics of Jalen Hurts look different? A two-step drop. Looks like a pretty quick release. I guess that's what they're talking about with quicker decision-making. The ball has it's a nice spiral. It's got some zip on it. You know what us haters have been saying? There's no zip on the ball. Right? 100% on the money. Right exactly where the ball needs to be in that situation. So hey, but we've seen him do it before. Jason O'Connell says, we could have made that pass. No rush or coverage. No, you couldn't, Jason. Jason, no, you couldn't. I'm telling you right now, you couldn't stand out there at Eagles training camp with an NFL football and put the ball on the money like that. No, you couldn't. Now, you sound like a hater. You see, when you guys call me a hater, when I talk about Jalen Hurts, that's what a hater is. That's somebody watching something and deflecting and say, oh, we could have made that throw. No, come on, bro. At least I'm sitting up here and acknowledging that Jalen Hurts sat there and made a perfect throw. I'll be honest with myself when I talk about whether or not I think he could be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and if I had to predict it, I think he's going to be a backup for his entire career. But even I can sit here and say that was a good throw. If you can't sit here and just say that was a perfect throw, then you sound like a hater. Oh, he's kidding. Oh, he's kidding. Oh, that's what you're supposed to do, he says. Oh. I love Jalen Hurts. I was just joking. Well, that's a weird joke, man. What'd you have for breakfast, Jason? That was a weird joke, bro. Didn't sound like a joke to me. It was a great throw. Just want to see it in the game. We all want to see it in the game, Jason. It's July 27th. Oh, man. Anyway, it's all love, Jason. You know how we get down here. It's all love. 153 people still in here, man. Hit the like button on the stream. Been up here for over an hour. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for supporting the channel as always. Thanks for tuning in as always. You guys are the best. Run it back, nation. I am out of here.